It was the first $1 million horse race in North America, and now the venue has changed to Churchill Downs. It's the Grade 1 Arlington Million, cutting back from the regular distance of 1.25 miles to 1.125 miles for this edition. Joe Kristufek and Scott Shapiro joining you on this video. And Chad Brown's been in the winner's circle a lot in the Beverly D and in the Arlington Million. Scott, the success is certainly well documented. He has won this race 4 times, 3 of the last 4, bricks and mortar 2018 horse of the year. But this year, maybe a little bit of an afterthought horse in Sacred Life, who I'm kind of sort of against. I'm interested in quite a few others.
Yeah, I agree with you. And no doubt Chad Brown has become regular customer at the winner's circle many places, including back at Arlington. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the Beverly D or the Arlington Million, maybe one of them. But I'm going to play against Secret Life as well in here, Joe. I've just never been a huge fan of this 7-year-old Ridgeling. You know, definitely a capable type horse, but kind of managed as Chad's B and C team type, which is, you know, the A team for most barns over the last few years. He's raced once at Churchill Downs. It was an off the board finish, and he might get a good trip in here. He might be able to grind along for a minor share, but if he takes any sort of money, he's a fade for me.
He had a blinkers 2 starts ago. He won his last race at Monmouth. That was a Grade 3. This race tougher than that one, and I think just because he's trained by Chad Brown, he's probably going to be a little bit of an underlay. Let's talk about the pace of the race, Scott. We are in lane 1 for the Arlington Million. Again, going 9 furlongs. How do you see the early proceedings playing out?
Well, with Smooth Like Straight and Mega City drawn next to each other, it's very likely that they're going to battle to an extent on the front end. I think Mega City, who ran pretty well in the Texas Turf Classic against Field Pass when getting disqualified last time out. First start off the claim for Mike Maker. We've seen Mike do a tremendous job claiming horses for big amounts of money, close to 6 figures, and turn them into 2-turn, maybe even 3-turn turf stakes runners. Mega City ran well last time out, but he's going to have to deal with Smooth Like Straight, who I think is the clear class of the field in here, shipping in from Southern California for Michael McCarthy. But with the presence of these two, I think we're pretty insured, as well as maybe Cavalry Charge to the outside, who really needs to go to the front, or he has very little chance from that outside draw. I think we're going to get a contentious early pace.
Smooth Like Straight is a legitimate Grade 1 animal. He comes into this race on a 6-race losing streak, but he does run well fresh. He's a Grade 2 winner at 9 furlongs, legitimate Grade 2. In Grade 1 races, Scott, 7 tries, a win, 4 seconds, 2/3. Grade 2 races, 6 starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds. There's no doubting his consistency. There's no doubting his speed. And when you look around at the other horses in the race, and I know Mega City's got some speed, but I just think Smooth Like Straight is a class of the field, and I think he's going to be very difficult to beat.
Well, I agree with everything said other than being very difficult to beat, because he just continues to get beat. I mean, he runs huge frequently. In fact, he ran huge in the Breeders' Cup Mile at 10-1 and did his normal thing, finishing second that day to Space Blues. But if you look at his past performances, he just likes to finish second no matter where he is. And it's a tough luck situation in some of the cases, but in some of the cases, he should have just outright won that race. So as the 5-2 favorite, I think he's the likeliest by far to hit the board, but he will not be on top on my tickets.
Other horses expected to take action. Santine, who was a Grade 1 winner at Churchill Downs in the Turf Classic, maybe aided a little bit that day by the way the turf course was playing. Tyler Gaffalione aboard. And then Set Piece, who always seems to find trouble, although he has been very dominant at Churchill Downs in his career, 4 for 5 lifetime.
Set Piece going to save ground from the back of the pack and come with a big run. My concern with him, not his ability to run well at Churchill, but the 1 1/8. I think he's more of a miler, maybe a 1 1/16. Got into a ton of trouble in the Forbidden Apple with some traffic issues when they turned for home. Probably much better than that 5th place running line suggests, although I don't think he's going to win this race at a 1 1/8. I think Santine is the one to beat in here. Not in love with this horse at 3-1 on the line, but I think he gets the right trip. You mentioned it. The 1 start over the newly renovated turf course here at Churchill was a win in the Grade 1 Turf Classic when he held off Mira Mission in a fun stretch duel. I guess it's me, Tyler Gaffalione, and Brendan Walsh this weekend, Joe, in the big races in Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, the Manhattan last time, shoe repair prior to the race. That's never a good thing. Lost to much better horses than he's going to face in this one today at Hamo, Gufo, finishing 2nd and 3rd respectively. They would be odds-on favorites in this race. Anybody else you want to mention in this field that should be considered?
Well, I think admission office is a little interesting. In fact, when the PPs first came out, I really had serious interest. I mentioned I think it's going to be a contentious pace. I've got no concerns about this one getting a mile and an eighth. Probably wants a little bit further, and he's run well at Churchill in all four starts, 2 seconds, 2/3, including a win, 2 back in the Arlington when it looked like he was doing very little running and really picked things up late to get the best of Scott smoking in the lane at a pretty good price off a long layoff. But he looks a little bit too slow for me to win the race. I do think, however, with Brian Hernandez Jr. jumping aboard for the first time, that he can pick up the pieces at 10-1.
Santine for Scott, admission office, his price play. I'm going to go with a class of smooth like straight. The Arlington Million, race number 11, the finale on Saturday's card at Churchill Downs. 4 stake races on the agenda, including the Million and the Beverly D. For Scott Shapiro, I'm Joe Kristufek. Don't forget to play the races at Twin Spires.